I did my first web series my senior year of college, just procrastinating. I took some time off of school to go to film school because Stanford didn't have a film program, so I went to the New York Film Academy in LA. And that meant that I was behind on all my studies. And so the last quarter, I took like 20 units, which was a lot. I think 22 units. I had to petition to take more classes. And so I was really busy, which meant had a lot of work. And when I have a lot of work, my creative mind goes in overdrive because I'm just looking for an outlet. And I just had an idea of like, what if I do like a mockumentary about what it's like to be Black at Stanford, and created a web series, Dorm Diaries, and it spread to a whole bunch of different colleges. And it was also during a time when I was trying to break into the industry traditionally by doing contests. We submitted for like a Sundance program, and was just getting no's. And so to see that show spread was like an epiphanous moment where I felt like, oh my gosh, I can just have direct access to an audience. And then I created another web series featuring my younger brother. And then the third web series was Awkward Black Girl, and that's the one that took off. And once I got attention for that, just from so many people supporting it on the web, that's when I got the attention of like Pharrell and ABC, and then HBO came knocking for what became Insecure.
Let's talk about a little bit the difference between creating for YouTube versus TV, and kind of like the creative differences and how much control you have when you were working like kind of independently with your web series versus working on Insecure and working for HBO.
From YouTube, it's all you. It's only you in many cases. It's like up to you how you build your team, if you have one, when you air, like it's just completely autonomous, and it can be overwhelming of just like I have all these options, and you're also like scrambling to find an audience. Whereas, going somewhere like HBO, they have a built-in platform. Obviously, you're working with development executives there, so they have input on what you want to, on the show you want to create. It's on their timeline, it's on their schedule, but it's a massive platform, and it's a massive opportunity. And I think for me, going from YouTube to HBO felt like a vacation, because it was just like, oh, there are assigned people to do this, and I have help. And I was at a place by that time where I was more clear about the stories that I wanted to tell and my vision. And so they were basically the alley-oop to, help me make what I wanted to.
Like, what was that being like a Black woman trying to like pitch a show about being a Black woman?
A lot of the pictures I had early on were pretty much compromising my vision. Like if casting a celebrity who I personally didn't feel like identified as awkward for a show just for mainstream success didn't appeal to me, and that was some of the suggestion. I think being where the Black female equation comes is that we've been underestimated for so long, just in terms of like Black people don't spend, Black people don't watch, they don't support, and we've just disproven these myths time and time again. But that was just some of the feedback that I got early on, like categorizing or limiting the types of things that we watch on television and the type of things we support. And that in turn, because they were the gatekeepers, because they were the people to greenlight content, we just never got the opportunity. And now obviously feels like a completely different time.
Why was it important to like mention that with it, like talking about gentrification? We talk about a lot online, but it was nice to kind of see it on an actual like network show.
Living in Inglewood, seeing the change around me, seeing, so many places have to shut down because of the city's interest in promoting the stadium that's being built there. Stadiums, plural. It's heartbreaking. And my mom lives there. And for me, even shooting the show there, season 1, realizing that this show would serve as a time capsule for LA changing so much. So many of the places that we've shot in are now either shut down, for sale, being renovated to be something else. And it's just so interesting that this show will hold a piece of history for what once was, and what, it's kind of tragic that all these thriving Black neighborhoods are not going to be that. We always made it clear that even just a part of the show, behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, we wanted to make sure that we were representing, Black people, and kind of putting our money where our mouth was. And then, you know, in hiring our costume designer, Ayanna James, she in turn prioritized making sure that we had Black fashion designers and that the fashion choices on the show felt like they represented us authentically.
It's kind of nice to see kind of the evolution between like first season and second season, and kind of like your hair kind of reflects the character and kind of like what you're going through. So I guess, do you kind of want to like talk a little bit about like the choice, like the hairstyle choices on the show?
I work with the amazing Felicia Leatherwood, who has really been instrumental in me being able to take care of my own hair, because, you know, growing up, natural hair wasn't really as prominent in film and television, and I felt the pressure to relax my hair, and you know, my hair type cannot handle relaxers, so my hair fell out. Even though my mom warned me, like, girl, don't do it, and I was like, Mom, you don't know, and she knew. But like, there's just been so much of a pressure to maintain a certain type of hairstyle, and then when I got to college and I met a whole bunch of other friends who were embracing their natural hair as is, it kind of empowered me to do the same, and I realized how important it is to just, even in your group of friends, see those images and be like, oh, it's okay for me to do that. So imagine the impact of television and film and seeing people with natural hair. I'd imagine that younger girls seeing that would be like, okay, my hair is okay. And Felicia's been just so good about being inventive with hairstyles. Obviously, my hair was significantly shorter season 1, and you know, with season 2, she was like, okay, now I can really play, and really just pays attention to the script, and we talk every morning of just like, okay, she's going through this, and her headspace is this. And this season in particular, because season 2, we were like, hairstyle different, let's go, I got length, let's do it. And then 3 was like, let's get inside her mindset. She's broke, and
she's not doing too many hairstyles.
She's not doing a lot.
Natural hair is very expensive to maintain.
Yeah. So she was just really great about making sure that it felt realistic even in that.
One of the gags in the show is like the show within the show.
Oh yeah.
And we've now seen this not just with Insecure, but like Dear White People and Atlanta. And I guess
Atlanta
like,
has a show within a show?
Yeah, they have a show within the show. I think it's called Ban. Yeah, it's like,
oh, the network.
Yeah, the network. Yes. Yeah. So it's like we've now seen this in like 3 like predominantly Black shows and Black created shows. Why was it so important to have that like aspect within Insecure?
It was just fun. It was just an inside joke. You know, we're all writers in the writers' room. Obviously, we're all writers. We all consume lots of television, and culturally, Black shows have been. We've had renaissances, and then we've had like dry spells, and during those dry spells, there's things that we're just like so desperate to hold on to and cling on to because it culturally represents us in a way that's not necessarily accurate, but we hold on to these shows. So our first season was conjugal visits, about, you know, women in prison who, you know, needed those visits, and I thought that was funny, and just in terms of like how the prison culture reality shows are like, you know, glorified to a degree, and then second season was obviously Due North, which, you know, slavery. We were thinking about how many television shows and movies were dedicated to slavery during that particular time, and how absurd it would be if we had a slave show that was also as addictive as Empire and Scandal.
Right.
And this season, we're also paying homage to something that's super prevalent in television culture currently, and that's funny to us, but it really serves as more of an inside joke for like what we consume on television why we consume it. So I'm excited for people to see this show within the show this season.
Yeah, I think we're really excited to see it. 'Cause
I personally love it. I was like, I would watch this.